Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
All right, here we are. So I turn into an eagle and I start scouring the hills for signs of giants. So how fast am I going? 14 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
So as the crow flies, I can go across the whole road. So I do that first because I figure that they're probably relatively close to the road. Obviously, I veer off if I think there's a sign of something that looks like a giant could live in it. Presumably a
Right.
cave.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just open up this. Oh, God. Why we don't? This is why we had the other what method, Neal. Cumbersome. There we go. Lovely. Give me a perception check, Mr. Malakai.
All right. I perception. Ah, no. Wait, but I should get a bonus because I'm high up in the air. Right?
Yeah, I'll give you a +2 bonus for being high enough for like having a bird's eye view, a literal bird's eye view for what you're looking
L
for.
Literally. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a pass then.
All right. As you're scouring these hills with the wind in your eagle ears, you spot some giants. You spot 4 giants taking a nap.
Taking a nap, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Wow.
the middle of, it's a siesta, it's a warm day out there, you know, it's no longer raining, it's a sunny sky. They're all just like, lying on the ground, basking in the sun.
All right. I have fought giants before. Specifically, I've fought hill giants before. And I have seen them throw boulders. Correct?
Yep.
What can I guesstimate the effective range of a giant's boulder throwing?
Hundreds of feet. Many hundreds of feet.
Hundreds of feet, but probably not hundreds of yards, right?
Well, if it's 600 feet, that would be 200 yards.
Yeah. The range of magic missile. It's only what, 150 yards.
That's pretty good. So, magic missile is questionably within giant range.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Fireball's probably certainly in giant range, right? That's the
Oh,
100
no.
yards.
Yeah, it's definitely within giant range, you'd expect.
So they're pretty far throwers, these little guys.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
These
far
little
throwers.
guys, but they're like 16 feet tall.
These little guys, yeah. These little guys. Okay, I don't know what to do. I don't really want to fight 4 giants. It seems like a bad idea. And I need to get back. Do they look like they live here in this area?
There's just 4 giants lying on the ground. How could you know if they live in this area?
Is there like any covered like caves or the trappings of cooking?
No, there's no cook pots or anything like that. You don't see any cave entrances. No.
No.
How far are you from them, I should be asking?
Yeah, they might try and kill a giant eagle, mightn't they? Not too close. I mean, enough that if they were awake, they might see me, though. I mean,
Yeah, they definitely haven't moved since you've been watching them. They're enjoying the sun.
but what I will do is I will shapeshift into a smaller bird.
A wren?
Yeah. And I will start exploring the area around where the giants are. Hopefully now small enough not to pique their attention.
Sure. Give me a second perception check as you get a little bit closer.
22.
Yeah, you get a little closer and a little closer. And at a certain point, you realize that they're not taking a nap. These are dead giants.
Oh, fantastic. Dead giants, wow.
Yep. 4 dead giants. They look pretty badly dead. One of them's bloating. Or they're all bloating. One of them is badly burned along, it looks like its side and probably its back, but then it ended up falling on its back. There are like little pock marks and holes in one of them. There's like a kind of rotted area on another.
Great. Just couldn't be more convenient. I wonder how many hit die a giant has.
We'll never know now.
Total hit die cannot exceed the wizard's level.
Ugh, yeah, they definitely have more than 9 hit die.
Damn it!
Animate dead that you're looking for?
Wouldn't that be great, though?
Well, actually, hold on, because giant children...
That's what I was going to ask.
Probably... Alright, so juveniles have fewer hit die. Let me just quickly look at this. And as I said before, these are families of giants, which will include parents and children. Roll of 1 to 3 indicates older progeny with hit dice damage and attack rolls equal to that of an ogre, but that's not quite right because there's various groups. These books are so close to being perfect. Alright, so the youngest... Alright, let's see what age group the child... There are 2 children here. It's a pair of parents and a pair of kids. Actually,
okay.
One of the kids might be full grown, though. Yeah, so one of the kids is definitely full grown, full adult. And the other is... juvenile -2, 650. So that's the equivalent of an ogre leader. And an ogre leader has... ogre leader is a 7 hit die monster. So
Perfect.
There is a 7 hit die giant down there.
Okay, but the question I have is that Animate Dead lets you raise zombies or skeletons.
Yep.
If these guys are, like, they're not rotted away yet, so do they have to be zombies?
Yes. If you want to get a skeleton ogre, you would have to remove the flesh from a skeleton animated. You'll have to remove the flesh from the giants.
And what's the advantage of skeletons over zombies? Zombies have an extra hit die.
Skeletons take double damage from bludgeoning, but half damage from piercing and slashing, or something like that.
And do they like move faster than zombies?
Yes, they don't have the. They don't move last in the round. They have like normal initiative.
Okay, but you know, in doing this, I actually have a much better idea, and I land on the floor near them, and I turn back into myself, and I start investigating the bodies and try and work out what might have actually killed these.
Well, right away you can see that there are massive burn marks on some of them, and there are the very telltale familiar like holes that come from a magic missile spell. It looks like some wizard or wizards have been here and chopped these things to bits. Can I get a intelligence check again?
Indeed. 85.
Yeah, there are a few signs of melee weapons down around the ankles and knees as well. There's like hacking and broken bones and stuff. So you're counting at least 2 different types of melee weapons. There's a bludgeoning weapon involved and a slashing weapon involved. And then some magical spells as well. So at least a wizard and either a dual-wielding fighter or 2 fighters.
Alright, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They killed 4 giants, so they're probably pretty strong. So I withdraw my +3 dagger. And I cut the ears off these giants and take their hair.
Done. And done.
So
what
I
are you
have
going to do
8.
with the giant ears?
Pretend I killed them.
Got it. Got it. And yeah, but as you look at these giants, you notice that there are no missing ears from them at all.
So whoever did it hasn't tried to take the credit.
Or
Fantastic.
maybe they have a different way of taking credit or something, but they're definitely not like collecting ears, which is how you guys did it back in Eridon.
That's how we did it, yeah. And they haven't taken the hair, so the wizard's either It's not smart or just not concerned. I
I
guess
mean,
he probably.
there's 4 giants, so if they took a little bit of hair, you wouldn't notice.
I suppose so. All right,
Yeah.
I look for another comfortable tree to sleep in for the night. As a bird, it's probably quicker to find. Maybe.
Yeah. How long can you sleep as a bird? How long does polymorph last?
No, I can't. But I mean, I can fly around the trees looking.
Sure.
I don't have to keep climbing up and down all day.
Yeah, you'll eventually find something after a while of scouting around.
All right, I mentally prepare. I I sit in the tree for the evening, contemplating what I'm going to do, and whether this is crossing a line. But I rationalize it to myself, rightly or wrongly, that these are giants. They're not people, and I don't have any nefarious use in mind. It's purely experimental and research-driven. I go to sleep, and the next day, I switch out Cloud Kill for Animate Dead.
Now, while you're doing this, there's a few questions that are going to be absolutely running through your head, but I want to hear. I would like to hear what your answers are to these. So, are you concerned at all about what was her name?
Yeah, Lydia.
Lydia noticing
Slightly. Especially since she had some knowledge of the giants, which implies that her vision range extends this far. But I know enough about wizard spells, perhaps, that scrying on the general area and seeing the giants might have a different range than, say, scrying on me personally. Like, it just because she knows how many giants are in the family doesn't mean that she knows what I'm up to on a minute-by-minute basis. And I might be out of range of whatever spell it is that she's using to discern knowledge of me. She did kind of imply that as long as I was within the town, she would be able to keep abreast of me. And that's why other wizards move out. So I feel like maybe this is far enough away.
Okay.
But at the same time, I feel like I'd just have to kill her if she were to oust me like that. Like, maybe if she was stupid enough to confront me first.
So you have no concerns about, like, fitting in and being a productive member of this society. This is my town now. I'm going to run this place. When
Yeah,
he gets
I
in
do.
my way, I'll put her down.
I have interest in fitting in because I do have designs on power here, but not about necessarily getting on with the current ruling structure, unless it serves me in some way, to do so. Plus, also, she seems to have somewhat of a passing interest in necromancy, so, maybe she's into it. I don't know. But like I said, I don't see it as too wrong. I am worried that she'll find out and I'll get back to town and there'll be people waiting for me. But how was it a crime in Eridon to cast Animate Dead? Was it even that often done that there was laws against it?
I think it's one of those things that you don't need a law that says you can't animate dead. Like, it doesn't need to be put on the books. It's like you don't need a law that says you can't murder people. Like, it's just a known thing. You can't do that.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. But there is a concern, clearly. But I'm kind of hoping that either if she realizes I can cast that spell, maybe she realizes that it's in her best interest not to sort of get in my way.
All right.
We'll see.
Policy man.
I didn't learn this. I spent all this time learning the spell. I didn't not cast it. So I learn it in the morning, and I head back to the. I assume I'm not too far away. I walk there. And I walk back over to the giants, and I study their bodies, and I identify the smaller one. And then,
are you going to turn it into a skeleton?
I can't. It has to be a zombie, right?
I mean, you could remove the flesh from its bones. It would take you probably a day or two. It'd be a bloody, gross endeavor that would involve hacking a giant to bits and ripping apart. But you could absolutely do it given time.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Is it because you don't want to get dirty? Is it because you don't really care that much about the skeleton? Let us in on why you're willing to go with the zombie over there.
Because I don't see the advantage of having the skeleton is particularly that much better. You know, it's got one less hit die. It's faster, all right, but I'm not even really sure that I've got anything in mind for this giant.
Okay.
So I just want to kind of see how it works. I get down, I cast the spell. Or, you know, if I was Greg right now, I'd describe a really cool ritual. So maybe what is the thing that you need to cast it? Components.
A drop of blood and a pinch of bone powder or a bone shard.
Yeah. So maybe I like I don't know, make a paste out of the bone powder and the blood, and then draw like a symbol of veracity on the giant's forehead.
Whose blood do you use, yours or the giant's?
So the giants still have blood.
There's bodily fluids. I don't know how you... Blood after a few days is probably pretty coagulated, I would expect.
I don't particularly want to use my own. Is there any creatures around? Like a frog or something?
Yeah, you've got magic missile. You can murder an animal. No problem.
Well, can I do it without magic missile? Can I sling it or something like that?
Sure. I mean, you're out in the woods. You've got time. You can probably kill something, and if you can't kill it with melee or a natural means, you could probably kill it with magic missile if it comes to it. So
if it was required.
Yeah.
All right. So I kill a creature, and I guess I take out my dagger. Yeah, and I cut its, if it's like a frog or something or a bird, I cut its stomach open. Got like a cup or something, and I like bleed it into the cup, and then I take out my little pouch of bone powder, which maybe I need to make the bone powder as well, actually, because I don't suppose I would have bought that from the shop. So maybe I bleed the creature into a cup, and then I cut away the flesh and cut out a few bones and like grind them in a mortar, and then mix the blood with the bone dust to make a paste. Yeah, and then on the giant's forehead, I'll draw the symbol of veracity in the paste, and then stand over it and incant. I take one step and like look around, make sure that I'm alone. This is near the road, right? It's not too far away from the road. Yeah. Right, I cast the spell.
Okay.
Say the words.
Done. You say the words, you cast the spell, you've got the bone paste and the blood all mixed together and the symbol of veracity on the forehead. And when your words are done, the skeleton shambles to life.
Zombie
shambles to life.
So does it sort of just like open its eyes and then...
It sits up first, and then the one eye sort of opens, and then it rises to its feet, and the other eye slowly begins to open, and then it just stands there.
Did it have a weapon on the ground?
No.
Did its parents have weapons?
Yeah. There is a very large club nearby.
I say, pick up that club.
It picks up the club in both hands.
Does it look capable of fighting with it?
It's a little big for the zombie. It'll probably have a penalty to hit with it because it's so awkward, but yeah, it could use it. Can it? Wait, no, it's a zombie. I don't think the zombies can use weapons. I think...
Alright, it uses it.
Yeah.
That might be another advantage of skeletons then.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
You can equip them with like magic items and stuff.
Yeah.
So I now spend the day testing the limitations of its ability to follow commands.
Of course.
So I tell it things like, you know, like I command it to move to a certain place that I can see. Assuming that works, then I tell it things like I scout ahead a bit and find like an area that's maybe a 20-minute walk away, and and I tell it to like walk north until you reach the stream, and then cross the stream and wait for me by the bramble brush or something like that.
That's definitely way too complicated in order for it to follow.
So try and get an idea of what the limitations are.
So the limitations are pretty broad. Limitations based on time don't really work. If you say walk for 5 minutes, the thing just kind of keeps going. It seems to not have an understanding of time. And physical locations have to be pretty general. Like, you can say walk to the bridge, and it'll walk to the bridge. But if you say like walk beyond the bridge, it just kind of goes. If you say walk to the other side of the bridge, it goes to the other side of the bridge and keeps going. You know, it's a really stupid creature that can only follow the like most basic commands.
Yeah.
That are like the most broad and general as well.
Then I want to try and work out if it's capable of talking.
No.
I ask it to like make noise.
It's just kind of.
Alright, and then I say like I go back. I bring it back to where it was originally animated, and I ask it to touch its father's hand. See if it remembers which one was its father.
It just stands there.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem to have any knowledge of who or what it is.
Nope.
Purely an inanimate tool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know, I walk around the forest for the day with the zombie. I see if I come across anything worth killing.
Define worth.
Like something that might actually try and fight and not just run away. Like, I don't know, an ogre or a wild boar or a stag or a bear.
No, it's a chill day. Maybe the walking zombie is scaring everything off before we have a chance to run across it. Or maybe it's just one of those nice, peaceful days where you don't really see anything.
Yeah. Okay. So as night approaches, I will find another tree and tell it to stand guard for the night.
Okay.
At the tree. And go to sleep.
Done. The night passes, and you have a troubled sleep that night. You keep remembering Aldrich and his death, and you're hacking him to bits and putting him in a bag and flying him out to sea and dumping him in the water for the fishes.
It was a grim act.
Yeah. And just, you find yourself reminded of him. You haven't seen him, you haven't been haunted by him in a while, but the dreams are starting to kick back in now that you are animating zombies.
Yeah, it's not nice work, is it? It does leave a sour taste in your mouth. Perhaps it gets easier. Maybe I'd feel better if I actually got it to kill something. Right now, it seems a bit superfluous to requirement. Is it still there in the morning?
It's still there in the morning.
I tell it to wait, and I will do another day of scouring for more giants with the bird form.
You find that the same group of 3 now is there, but there are no other giants that you come across.
So, I never did find that they lived near here, though, right? These giants.
You didn't find their house, no.
But it kind of seems like maybe these are the ones that lived closest to the road, or, you know, maybe these ones obviously attacked these adventurers on the road. So maybe it's not a total lie if I say that
they weren't exactly on the road. They were about a half-mile off the road, to the north of the road.
All right.
It actually looks a little bit more like the adventurers went out of their way to find these giants.
Oh, well, I mean, good on them, I suppose. All right, there's no way to, like, tell the giant to... Well, if I said, like, follow the road back to Ditchwater, it could probably do that, right?
If you say follow the road, it'll follow the road as long as the road is clear. If at any point the road gets confused, it might just stop, or it might take what it thinks is a road. And it's pretty stupid. However, you've walked along the road from here to Ditchwater, and you know that it's pretty straightforward.
I'm not going to do that, by the way. But while I'm out here, do I find any like caves that maybe not giant caves, you know, like smaller caves, or abandoned buildings, or anything like that, while I'm flying around?
Well, you don't really see caves because it's a forest below you. Hard to see anything from the air like that. Abandoned towns. There is a village that you had read about when you were searching up what villages in the area. There's one you had read about that was kind of up to here. Actually, it was closer to the river, over this way.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit far. It's a long walk to go walking with a zombie. You know, just anywhere that looks sort of remotely like you could spend a night there. I don't know. Like maybe it's just, you know, I spent the day walking around with the giant as well the day before, so maybe I came across a small cave or something. But I find somewhere to leave it. Somewhere that I might want to go back to in the future.
So you're just trying to like find a spot to store your zombie for a while?
Yeah, maybe I'll come back to it later.
Sure. You find a ravine with a small creek that runs through it that is well shielded from view and like a half-mile off the road or something. It's unlikely that any people will come this far, and it's nice and steep, so it's unlikely that anyone would see the zombie even if they came here, unless they actually came to the ravine itself.
Yeah. Can I destroy it? No. I would have to physically destroy it.
Yeah, I don't think you can dispel it at will.
You know what? Dispel magic might cause it to unanimate though, right?
That might work.
Nah, fuck it. No, I leave it in the ravine.
That work? Can you just dispel magic on undead? On this type of zombie? Maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
It might work. I want to write up a document about the different types of zombies and skeletons, because there's like 3 different types. You know, there's the like, I've just raised a skeleton I found. There's the like restless spirit that is still around because it hasn't given up its task in life, and there's a 3rd kind as well. Can't think of it off the top of my head.
The spell says it can't be dispelled.
Okay, wonderful.
So I tell it to wait there and to not attack anything.
Okay.
So if anyone does find it, it'll just stand there and be killed.
Okay.
And then I get my phantom steed and head back to Ditchwater.
Alright. You leave the zombie behind?
I leave it behind. Alright, well, I head back to Ditchwater, and I fully intend to take credit for killing those giants, so...
Sure. You make it back to Ditchwater. The travelers are there, the caravan is there. It looks like there's about 12 wagons here, and an equal number of mercenaries standing about. The same gentleman that you were talking to before sees you coming and gives you a wave and walks over in your general direction, saying, hey there, buddy, how's it going?
Hello, friend. Things are well. I have just returned from the hills.
Wonderful. Did you find any of the unsavory critters?
I found a small family of them, only 4.
Son of a bitch. Well,
but
like a mess.
I have dealt with them. I'm not sure if they are dead. They are slain.
You killed 4 giants.
I did. It took me a few days, but they're unable to assail me from my position. I have proof. I take out the ears.
Well, they are giant ears, and he replies with shock and awe, like...
I know. It's not the first giant I've killed. Or even the second.
Well, I guess we don't have as much to worry about.
There may be more, but yeah, I think I tried to search the road for any others, and I couldn't find any but these. So maybe it's safe. You know, when you travel, could you write to me and let me know if you're accosted at all? And I give him my address.
Write to you if I'm accosted by giants?
Yeah, if you see them and drive them off. Obviously, if you're accosted and killed, then you won't be able to send me a letter.
Right.
But, you know, I would just like to know if the road feels safe or not. But I won't be accompanying you.
He takes your address. Well, you're doing the Lord's work.
I like to think so.
You're making the world a better place for everyone.
I'm doing the work of some gods. I'm just not sure which, but I do my best.
Ah, well, Quantarius, clearly, god of trade. You've cleared up the roads. He will bless you, I'm sure.
I hope so. I hope so. My father is a merchant, so I feel a strong link to Quantarius myself. Saying, what is it you trade? Anything interesting?
Well, really whatever I can get my hands on. Today I've got a bunch of pots from Matava that have come over here. They've got weird pottery over there, bizarre designs.
I hear that they're strange folks in Matava.
Sort of. They ain't as strange as those Akubans or those Mystrian folks. But they definitely have a weird sense of artwork. He goes back to a wagon and pulls out this vase that has just like 10 naked men just like wrapped around holding hands together with like oversized phalluses hanging between their legs. And it's the style that they got going on over there.
Hey, you like what you like.
And some people here like it very much. You go find yourself a baroness or a countess or a princess or something like that. These pots sell like hot pockets to them.
Oh yeah, you think? What about Baroness B and?
She already bought a dozen.
Oh, she bought a dozen. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she'd like a 13th? Is there any that might complement the ones that she already purchased?
Yes, he says, and he goes over and pulls out this kind of silvery pot. It's clearly been like decorated with painted silver on the tops, and the paintings on the sides aren't so much like what's that? What is the color called? That kind of reddish brownish color that you see in Greek pottery. There's a specific term for it. Terracotta is the material. Doesn't matter. It's like this reddish pot, but the figures are in silver and black, and then the top of it, the lip of it, is silver metalled.
Nice. Is the color ombre?
Maybe.
I don't.
Yeah.
I ask him how much he would like for this vase.
He will happily sell it to you for, hold on, converting. It's like 300 copper. Yeah.
300 copper.
300 copper, yeah.
3 gold?
Yeah.
I give him the 3 gold. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Did you, are you looking to have a collection like the Baroness's? Because if you want, I've got a whole bunch more.
No, it's not for me. I intend to give it to the Baroness.
Oh.
I'm trying to purchase her favor between you and me.
I see.
Yeah. I'm new in town, and I'm used to being involved in matters of politics.
I see. Well, let me give you a little hint about the Baroness, then. She had 5 kids who all died early on of disease.
Wow.
And she has no one left to inherit, and her husband doesn't like to talk about it, but died in a rather silly fishing accident. It's an embarrassment to the family. So she's single with no heirs, and
How old is she?
45.
Ah,
Past
too old for
childbearing
kids.
age, yes.
Well, I sort of slick my hair back. Say thanks for the advice.
Of course. Anything for a loyal customer. And next time I'm in Bontheris, he says, looking at your address, I'll swing by and see if you want any if I have anything else that would interest you.
Definitely. I look forward to it.
Excellent.
Good day, sir. I hope the road is safe for you.
Good day.
All right. I then walk a little bit out of town. Oh wait, I've already cast Phantom. How long does it take me to go from the hills to here?
It's like what? How would we say? 19 miles? 10 miles? As far as this shit.
Phantom
Yeah,
Steed's
it's like 20 miles. What's your
36, I think. Yeah, 36.
So you can go
Like 10 miles an hour, so I think.
Yeah, it's fine. How long does it last?
9 hours.
Oh yeah. You're good.
So I walk back out of town. How suspicious is the Phantom Steed?
Super fucking suspicious.
But it's not like evil, right? It's not like Animate Dead.
Oh, it's not like Animate Dead, but like it's not a beautiful radiant steed. It's like a ghost horse.
Yeah, I'm already walking around with stone face anyway, so I head out to the tavern and grab my Phantom Steed, which I've set just off the road.
Mm-hmm.
People are probably giving it a wide berth, and I hop on.
Yeah, because you're level 9?
Yeah.
So it can pass over sandy, muddy, or swampy ground without difficulty. It can bear your weight without any problem. Yeah.
So,
It is smoke-colored with insubstantial hooves that make no sound when it walks.
That's
and with
pretty
milky
badass.
eyes. Yeah. So it's fantastic and phantasmastic.
I do keep an eye out for any like goblins or anything in the forest.
No goblins.
Okay. I ride back to Bontheris.
You make it back to Bontheris. You make it back to your estate. And in your absence, it looks like the dwarves have torn up your front lawn and built a small furnace there.
Wow.
Yep.
Yep. So, furious, get off my steed. Like I see, it's like one of the dwarves is probably like having a sandwich outside the furnace or something as I get there.
I mean, it's lunchtime when you arrive, so.
So I storm past them into Jeeves' house. Maybe he's not in his house. He might be in the main house. I go into his house looking for him.
You find Jeeves in his house.
Jeeves.
He is not alone. There are 2 young ladies here with him, and they are all in a state of undress.
What the hell,
He looks
man?
up surprised as you barge in, and quickly shoos them into the bedroom while he grabs a apron and puts it on and stands in the kitchen. Master Malakai, you're back already, sir.
What is this? Are you interviewing new cleaners or something? I don't want them polishing that.
I am sorry, my lord. I thought since it wasn't in the main house, it would be fine, but...
It is fine, but what's not fine? Did you authorize these dwarves to dig up my garden?
Yes, my lord.
What do you think Van Helsing's gonna say when he sees that?
We need more swans, my lord?
He's gonna lose his shit, Jeeves. He doesn't like... Furnaces aren't pretty like grass and gardens and stuff. I argued with him for ages about... I told him that we didn't need all those flowers.
I know, sir. I spent a lot of time looking for the right Bermuda grass for him, but my lord, they said it was necessary. They said they needed to melt the silver to paint the walls, and the furnace had to be as close to the house as possible.
I understand. But just make sure that when it's finished, you get the Bermuda grass put back in, and if Van gets back before this is done, then this is on you. I want nothing to do with this. I didn't authorize this. It's on you, Jeeves.
But...
You know what he's like when he's angry as well. He can be a right arsehole.
Yes, my lord.
Alright, look. Hey, I'm not here to ruin the party. Go and have your fun.
Yes, my lord.
I walk out. That sly bastard. Alright, I head into the house and I need to have a wash and sort of get ready to go and see the captain of the guard again. So it's probably approaching nighttime. So I spend the evening in the house. I assume that the dwarves don't bother me in the actual upstairs of the house.
No. They're just going back and forth between your basement laboratory and the forge outside.
Yeah, that's okay then.
But they're not particularly quiet while they're working. There's lots of loud cursing in Dwarven, and, every now and then someone will, like, hit their thumb with a hammer, and then all the dwarves stand around and laugh and yell at him, and, it's sort of a mess.
It's particularly infuriating, and I wonder to myself why they're working through the night. Do they go home at a reasonable hour, or do they just...
Yeah, they go home once it gets dark.
Okay. Probably to the tavern. Little bastards. Alright. There's nothing... I mean, I've got some books down in the library, but nothing too incriminating. I'm not too worried about it. So I spend the evening, I get washed up, let my stone skin wear off.
Mm-hmm.
I put on my normal around town robes, and in the morning I grab my pot that I've bought, and I think about this. I get one of the servants in the house, and I ask him if he's got any nice clothes. I find one that's maybe got some nice clothes, like maybe he's a waiting staff or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I hand him the pot and say, "I'm going to need you later today. Can you follow me around with this, please?"
Of course.
Okay. And then in the morning, I head out to the guard station. I tell Rupert, the servant, or Worcester, as he's Jeeves Jr., to wait, at the side of the road while I go in there. And I knock on the door.
Which door is this again? Sorry, I was
to the guardhouse.
Right. Back in town to the Baroness's guardhouse.
Yeah, to see Kel.
Oh, okay, that one. Kel Delude. Yes.
Kel Delude.
She is there. She's hanging out with a couple of people, not playing cards, but chatting with a few of her soldiers. They all woke up.
Delude, I am back, and it is not to play cards. I have travelled far and wide into the hills between here and Gumbrun, searching for giants. And I have been successful. I don't know how many there are, but I've killed a fair few. And I pull out the giant's ears.
Ooh, kind of rises through the building as you pull them out. She walks over and picks up one of the ears, and, well, this is definitely a giant ear.
I only killed 4. There's 8 ears. Clearly they have 2 each.
Do you mind if I hold on to this for 2 hours?
You may keep it.
Excellent. She goes over and pulls out a dagger and, like, pokes a hole in the ear and puts it through a little peg that would normally be used to hold coats or something.
Yeah, I say I trust that when you speak to the Baroness, though, you will put in a good word for me and you will not claim credit for my deed.
Of course not. I am a knight, after all. It would be dishonorable to lie.
And dangerous.
It goes quiet in the guard station.
Well, if you have any more problems, feel free to let me know. Hopefully, I spoke to some merchants in Ditchwater, and I'm hoping that the road is clear for them now. But there could be more giants, I'm unsure. But I couldn't find any more near the road.
Of course. Well, good for you.
And for you, and for all of Bontheris.
Yes.
Don't look so shaken. All I ask is for you not to stab me in the back. Is it so much to ask?
She looks unhappy with your veiled threats, your thinly veiled threats against her.
That's how I roll. I leave.
All right, you take off.
All right.
As you are leaving, you actually catch sight of Brudella
Good.
walking down the street, who stops and gives you a wave and comes over to see you.
Brudella, I was actually just coming to see you.
Oh, fancy that. What about?
I have something for you. I dig into my bag and I grab the giant hair. And I hand it to you.
Well, how unexpected. Lovely, thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it proves useful to you.
It will, yes. There's a certain strength spell that have been lacking components for. A client has asked for it in particular.
A strong warrior?
No, warriors can't cast spells, Malakai.
No. That wishes the spell. Oh, I see. It's a wizard trying to buy the components. I see.
Yes.
I thought you meant that you wanted to cast it on a client.
No.
Very well. Well,
I'm not that sort of spellcaster. I rarely sell spell effects directly.
It's safer that way.
I like to be less involved. I like to think of myself as the middleman. You know, someone wants something, someone else provides something. I connect, or will buy products and move them between people. I find you make a better life for yourself, and you live longer when you have no investment in the actions of those around you.
That's wise, yeah. It's not some advice that I've followed myself, but I don't live a very safe life, as you might imagine.
You're still standing. You look fairly safe to me.
Safe now. I wasn't safe. I wasn't that safe a few days ago when I was gathering this hair for you.
Well, what a gentleman you are.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. I ask for no payment, only that if the time should come that I require your aid, you listen with an open mind.
I would be happy to exchange that with you. You had mentioned before something about exchanging of spells?
Ah, yes. Do you have something in mind, or just...
There is a spell that has eluded me that I have a specific need for. Or maybe not a general need for. One of those things that when you do travel, which I sometimes leave home, it's always best to have on hand.
Yeah? What is it?
Oh, actually, that's a cleric spell. Damn it. Hold on. Maybe she doesn't actually want that spell.
I have a perfect spell for traveling, if that's what you're worried about. Invisibility.
Oh, that's a lovely little one, yes.
That's my most favorite spell.
What do you like doing? Going and spying on the bathhouses?
Look at me, I don't need to cast invisibility to spy on women. I just spy on them anyway. What are they going to do about it? No, I'm joking, of course.
Yes, you're quite the charmer.
Yes.
As I was saying, there's a spell I have need for. Are you familiar with Ultravision?
I am familiar. Let me scour my brain to remember if I've ever cast it. I don't think I have. No, unfortunately, I never learned that one. Don't know what to tell you, I'm sorry. If I come across it, though.
Yes, that is a particular interest of mine. Tell me, there, Malakai, what is your area of specialization?
I do not specialize.
Oh, a generalist, are you?
I prefer to keep my doors open with as few doors shut to me as possible.
I see. Well, do you have any...
Perhaps if you tell me what you are hoping to achieve, maybe I can provide my best and closest spell for the job.
I need a way of dealing with poison.
My cleric friend.
Yes.
He's not in town at the moment, but he is particularly skilled in this regard.
I know, it's very unfortunate. There are few spells in the wizarding realm that work for that. There's a protection from poison spell, which is somewhat useful, but it's quite limited duration. The only thing I've found that would be particularly useful in this is looks around, making sure that no one's nearby. A feign death spell.
Oh.
I hate to dabble, but that would be a good way of preventing poison from taking hold until well after.
I'd never thought of that, but I try and stay away from necromancy where I can. Like I said, I don't like to close doors, but it doesn't bode well with the general populace.
I agree. I think as long as you pick the right spells from the school, it's fine. Like Hold Undead, necromancy spell, but very non-threatening. You know.
Yes, no, I agree. That's a helpful one to have, but you know, maybe not worth spending too much time around the undead anyway, if it can be avoided.
Well, of course not. Why would anyone want to spend any time with them?
I've barely encountered the undead, really. Only one temple near Anvil. I found some skeletons in there, but it's not something that seems to be in plentiful supply in Eridon, at least.
Not since the old days. I think we've done a good job of keeping them away. There haven't been any undead issues around here in ages.
Well, if you do come across any necromancers, God forbid, or undead problems, you be sure to let me know, because I would be keen to put any necromancers out of their miserable existence.
And if I did that, who would I have left to fireball? There's so few opportunities to blow things up. If I find myself a necromancer, be sure I will be setting them on fire.
Very well. Well, at least let me watch.
Maybe we can burn something down together.
How old is Brunella?
Late 20s, early 30s, somewhere in there. That
You know what the next
border.
You know what the next question is.
What is her hotness? Is that what you're asking?
That's it.
I should have known. It is a solid 14.
Oh wow, she's pretty hot.
What is Malakai's hotness?
I seem to remember it being. I wanted him to be good looking. I don't think I ever rolled. I think you said we could choose, so I probably.
Yeah, you can choose if you don't want to roll, but if you roll, you have to keep your roll.
Makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I think probably 13 or 14.
Okay, so you're around similar attractiveness.
Yeah, yeah. Shared interest too.
Magic, killing necromancers, burning things.
Yeah, although my interest in killing the necromancers may be slightly different to hers.
Yeah, it's just to steal his stuff and keep yourself out of the spotlight.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I don't know. Maybe I flirt a little bit with Brunella, but not too obvious, because I have flirting designs on another.
Oh,
so,
who's the other?
Well, you'll see shortly.
Baroness. Come on.
So I'm trying to think, suggestion or lesser Gaius. Clearly, lesser Gaius isn't designed to make someone fall in love with you.
Yeah.
But suggestion isn't really either. I mean, could it be used for that?
When it comes to magically causing someone to fall in love with you, that is a tricky spot. Love is a very complicated emotion. There's no guaranteed way to have someone fall in love with you outside of like a love potion. And even those methods often go awry. Love is a very strong emotion, and it is tangentially related to a lot of other emotions. It's a foolish man tries to magically create love between two people. It almost never actually works.
Yeah, it never plays out as you expect. Oh well, I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way then. So I make sure Worcester is following with my jar.
Yep.
And I head to the keep.
You make your way to the keep. The guards are there. One of them sees you. You recognize him as the guy that you spoke to before, and he says, "Are you ready for the uniform, sir?"
No, I am afraid I am not here to visit Lydia. In fact, I wish to speak with the Baroness. I have a gift for her and some good news.
What's your gift?
My gift is a rare Matavan jar. Worcester,
Oh.
come. I purchased it for her. I hear that she is a collector.
She does appreciate fine foreign artwork. Yes.
Oh. Perhaps my generosity is enough to grant me an audience. A humble request, I hope.
I will talk with the counselor, but they're going to probably want your weapons, your staff, and all of your spell components as well.
As long as I can wear my own clothes, I'm happy.
Sure you will be able to wear your own clothes. That should be fine.
Fantastic.
But do know that we don't tolerate any nonsense here. If it even looks like you're casting a spell in the presence of the Baroness, expect a dozen crossbow bolts in your chest.
I understand.
Excellent.
So, is now a good time, or should I return at a later?
They make an appointment for you. We
Okay.
can skip to the appointment.
Okay, so I return in my best clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's already been given the jar?
Yes. They'll want to inspect the jar and make sure it's not trapped or anything before.
And so I turn up without my like gear, right?
Mhm.
I don't let them take it. I just don't bring it with me.
Right.
But I do have armor cast on me still.
Okay.
Yeah. And let me just check. Is there any spells that I've got only verbal components? Like, what's invisibility? I don't know why I'd want to cast it, really. No, that doesn't work. All right, no, never mind. I don't intend to cause trouble at this stage.
Okay. You get an audience with the Baroness. It's not in the main meeting room. It's in a smaller side room. She has 3 knights with her as bodyguards, and a chancellor with her as well.
Fantastic. And let me just... oh, yeah. So when she comes into the room, using my etiquette check, curtsy this time, I think.
Sure. You appropriately present yourself.
Is it evening?
No, it is afternoon.
Good afternoon, Baroness. And I curtsy.
Good afternoon, Malakai the Mage.
Thank you for willing to meet with me. Did you enjoy my gift?
I did indeed. How did you know that I was a collector?
Well, by happenstance, I was investigating the problems on the road to Grundel with the giants.
Yes.
And while I was in Ditchwater, I was speaking to a merchant there who was hoping to make the journey. And he was selling these fine jars. And I was hoping to make an introduction of myself with a gift. So I questioned as to whether, what he had for sale. And he said that many baronesses and ladies of fine tastes were partial to these jars. I asked if he thought you would like one, and he informed me that you'd already purchased a small collection, so I figured it appropriate.
Well, why, thank you.
Of course.
I did find it a nice addition to the collection.
I should say so. It was an impressive piece. Or impressive. Well, my mission with the Giants was successful as well. I don't know if you'd spoke to your captain or your knight, Kel Delude.
Yes, she had informed me of your dealings with these giants, and says it was not a trick with enlarged ears.
It was not. They are legitimate giant ears. I'm not sure if I got them all, but I killed a fair few.
Oh.
Hopefully the road is now a safer place. And trade can, Quantarius willing, hopefully trade can happen more frequently.
Well, the people of Bontheris and Grumpburn, thank you.
That's all I ask. I am in the business of helping towns such as these. I'm aware that you already have a court wizard who mostly resides inside the tower, and that's fine. There's a place for that. But perhaps you could use a magical agent on the ground. I would be willing to help you in matters that you require. if such a thing were to come up.
What sort of services do you offer?
A great variety of things. I've dabbled in many ventures in my time. I've killed great beasts, giants, chimeras. I've dealt with a dragon. I am quite a capable adventurer.
Let's see. I occasionally have need for destructive prowess.
Well,
which is
I'm the
what you
man.
seem to offer.
I have a great variety of skills, I say, with a sultry gaze. But certainly, killing is one skill that I possess.
Your others?
Well, it's too long a list. Perhaps we should get to know each other better, and maybe I can let you know.
Of course. Well, thank you for the gift. I will keep you in mind for any future endeavors.
Very well. I don't want to overplay my position here, so I will curtsy once again and thank her for her time.
She dismisses you with a polite wave. And you find your way out on the good graces of the Baroness there. A polite gift, a polite offer of service, no veiled threats.
No?
That's really the big thing here that you gotta Malakai's gotta work on, is not threatening to kill people.
You know what? So many people have got it coming, right?
They fucking do, but like...
Yeah.
You know.
So my goal with the Baroness is to get her to tell Lydia to let me use the library. But I'm not going to ask for that yet. So I might wait for the next time she calls on me and then ask for that afterwards.
Okay.
Unless she does invite me for dinner, in which case maybe the flirting route can work out to the same end.
Yeah.
But
so here you... Oh, go for it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So I head back from the keep and head back to the house.
The dwarves are busy hammering away on your house, on your little area down there. They like melt this silver, and they seem to be like painting it on the wall, and also like forming it into sheets. And there's also like a separate furnace now. There's 2 furnaces in your yard. They totally tore up your rose bushes, where they're melting down lead and like cooling it on some water or on a roller system, which is like helping to keep these large sheets of lead. And they seem to be like silver lead sandwiches. It's complicated and it's going to be expensive to do, but eventually your laboratory will be scry proof and magic resistant.
Good. Yeah, well, that's required.
Mm-hmm.
So given that the work's still going on, I shall endeavor to be out of town for a bit longer. So I spend the night back in the town, and then that village to the south, the abandoned village that you mentioned in the Goblin Forest, I might head over there. Okay. Dicey, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll have to do your adventure to Dicey and the undead armies that you'll raise from there another time.
All right.
All right. That's it for Hardcore Heroes, everybody. It has been fun getting back to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll just need to convince Sean next time.
Yes. Yes. Anything you want to say before we close out for the day?
It's been a blast. I love this character. I love this setting. So it's always great to, I don't know, to return to something like this. It took a while to get back into it, but I feel like Malakai's maybe closer to me than William, so it's easier for me to split back into it.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, this has been fun. I guess we'll probably check in with Malakai every now and then, because I think we've run out of flashbacks to do, so we'll probably do some Malakai and Van checking in and that sort of stuff. And that's it for today's content. We will see you later for more stuff, and maybe next week for some Frozen Frontier, although I think we have to time shift it a little bit because it's Mother's Day next weekend.
Yeah, well, I think that's fine with me if we do 2 hours later. I shall make a thread on Reddit in case anyone has questions.
Excellent.
All right,
everybody. Good night and goodbye.
see you later.